Oh, hey, there you are.
So my stuff from PML just came in. It's in that big box right over there. And early in the week, I also got my composites from Solid Composites and my parachute from Wildman Rocketry. Got a top flight parachute. So I'm gonna unbox my stuff real quick because I'm super excited. I've been waiting for like a week to get all my stuff, and I'll try to mock up what my L2 is gonna look like. It's gonna be pretty exciting. Alright. What's up, guys? It's Shane and Andy. We're about to start doing some Fiberglass composite for our L2 builds. We got a pretty cool setup. We have a rod here working as our mandrel, so we can have our airframe laid up. We'll put some plastic bags down so we can put down our fiberglass. We'll be working that in. But first, we gotta sandglass these. We gotta sandpaper these tubes because we want the resin to actually sit inside. So we're gonna go outside, sand them down, and we're gonna see what it's about. All right, so remember, you wanna make sure you got some safety protection. Some of this to keep your lungs healthy from all the dust. And make sure you have an Andy go get all the stuff that you forget. Alright, so we're about ready to get sanding. I got my eye protection, not that we'll probably need it, but you never know. It doesn't hurt to be a little extra safe. Got some dust protection for all the sanding stuff. We're gonna just sand down the entire airframe. That way it gets ready for the epoxy when we put the fiberglass on. So you can check out some of the techniques that we're trying out. Alright, so we just kind of went up and down using the sandpaper. Now we switched to a new piece of sandpaper and we're going to go side to side. That way we get some cross hatching in here and it gives it a better hold for the epoxy. Alright, so we got the tube sanded both longitudinally and kind of around the tube. Gives it a good cross hatch for the epoxy to go through. I don't know if you probably noticed, but we're both having trouble trying to go from side to side. Andy came up with a pretty good idea. You put the tube on your foot and kind of twist it while the sandpaper's in your hand. Worked for him. I ended up doing some other method, but still had a really hard time. Crunched up my sandpaper. If you got any good recommendations on how to do that, go ahead and let us know. Drop us a comment. It'd be really helpful. But now we're gonna move on to putting the fiberglass on. Alright guys, so now we're ready to put on the epoxy to the fiberglass airframe. What we're going to do here is we got the epoxy, the resin, and we're going to be mixing it with the hardener that's going to create the epoxy that makes it nice and hard or whatever. So we have these pumps on here. It's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio with these pumps. These pumps are actually going to measure out the correct volume. So we're supposed to have 5 parts resin and 1 part hardener, but these pumps just let us do 1 and 1 pump and it's perfectly mixed. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Chicken. We're going to start in the middle with the heat gun and keep working my way out little by little though. We're going to kind of try to do this evenly. So middle here, work our way out, then go back to the middle, shrink it a little more. Steve is my rotisserie guy, he'll keep rotating the chicken here. So let's get this started.
Let's stretch the other way. like this work cameras.
Alright, Andy, talk through what you're doing.
Right now, I'm currently heat shrinking the fiberglass. We just added the resin and we slid down the heat shrink tube. So now we're heating it up so it constricts, adding pressure onto the resin. And it also allows us to pull some of the resin out.
Okay, so we got the phenolic tubes, fiberglass today. We did all 3 tubes. We started off with the 4-inch tubing, and we had some lessons that we learned there. As we started going down, it looked like we had some air pockets that actually got caught up. We closed off the end so the air couldn't escape, and ended up creating a blister that kind of popped open. So the epoxy would come out and bleed out. What we ended up doing was taking the excess shrink tubing and we put it around where it was bleeding, and we think it might work as a band-aid. We'll see when we pull it off. It was a good idea by Steve. That was the 3rd guy that was there. Sorry we didn't get to actually introduce him. But he was a great help today. Doing things like this really helps when you have a couple of friends around. Definitely need 2 pairs of hands.
So the one thing that we did on the dirt side, our heat shrink did perfectly. We learned that the person who's spinning the tube is the person who's controlling the speed, and the person who's holding the heat gun is just holding it at a distance, far away, and just letting the heat shrink just naturally shrink. And then during the cases where we may have dimples or we may have bubbles, what we do is while the person is rotating it, we would then do a quick swipe by just putting the heat close to it and then immediately backing off to its original distance. And that's how on the try we were able to do it perfectly.
Right. And even for putting the epoxy on, it really helps if one person's mixing and kind of pouring the epoxy on and the other person is kind of working it in. It's a little unconventional method. You'd probably be better off using a paintbrush or something similar. We've seen that on YouTube before, seen a lot of guys that actually recommend that. We just didn't have a paintbrush with us and we're too lazy to go to the hardware store. We've done it by hand before, we're comfortable with using this method, and we figured let's go ahead and try it out anyways, show you what we do. If you have any suggestions on how you put it on, or if you think there's a better way, definitely let us know. Leave us a comment. Let us know what we're doing right, what we might be doing wrong. We're here to actually learn and kind of show you what we've been learning so you can build upon what we've made here. Again, thanks for stopping by Practical Rocketry. Really appreciate you watching our video. If you really liked it, hit the like button. If you want to see more of this build, we'll be putting out more episodes in the future, so definitely subscribe. And as always, we look forward to seeing you again on Practical Rocketry. Alright, so we're about ready to start sanding. I got my eye protection, not that I'll probably need it. But these pumps just let us do one and one pump, and it's perfectly mixed. So I'll go ahead and do that now.
Yeah,
that didn't do it right. Oh man, I don't know how much it's splitting out. On the next episode of 2 guys, 1 large shaft, Andy and Steve will apply lube.